Board of County Commissioners now in session. We'll begin with a prayer followed by the pledge. Mr. Jones, if you lead us in prayer, please.
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for this time you've given us together. Father, we thank you today for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that are part of who you are. We ask you today to impart that unto us individually and collectively as a body. Lord, we thank you today for the people of Franklin County. Help us to make decisions for their today and their tomorrow. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda will be payment of county bills.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Our motion carries. Next will be Mr. Rick Watson, tax collector. Please come forward.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission, Richard Watson, tax collector. Department of Revenue requested that the county sign a resolution confirming the tax collector's office is a budget entity under the Franklin County Commission. My predecessor had one, and I thought that would be adequate, but the Department of Revenue requested that we have one, an additional one. And I think it's in your packet.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lockley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Mike. Next will be the Department Director's Report. Mr. Howard Neighbor, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Right.
Everything's good at this time, so got nothing for the board.
Anything from the board for Mr. Howard this morning? No comments from the board. Thank you, Howard. Continue the good work. Next will be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Everything's going good.
Everything's going good.
Yeah.
That's the way you want it.
Now, yesterday I had a discussion with Mr. Davis on a job advertisement he was wanting to do. Would you reference what you talked about yesterday?
Yes, sir. What it was, the in-house position that we had for Knuckleboom, Ms. Lather retired. Didn't have anyone who wanted to transfer from one position to the other. So what I would like to do is advertise on the outside for a scale house operator. And the reason for that is that Ms. Link put her Link Carroll in the office with me, do more of administrative work, put me on the road more, see what's going on throughout the county. And I would like to put somebody else in the scale house with some secretarial skills.
You got the money in your budget for that?
Yes, sir. It's that vacant position that we have right now for the Knuckleboom operator. I can just use it.
You gonna use it instead of Knuckleboom?
Right.
You gonna be able to handle it?
Yes, sir.
Well, speaking of self, now what are you gonna have Link do?
Link would be full-time administrative. Right now, she's doing administrative and scales.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are you doing?
Right now, I'm doing administrative and on the road. But that will put me more out on the road.
Can we think about this, Mr. Chairman? This is the first time I've heard of it. I'm gonna go ahead and offer a motion that we table this and let us think about it, because this is the first time I've heard about it. I don't like anything like this sprung on when you're talking about employees or something like that, and I would rather just kind of wait until maybe the next board meeting, let me get with you and you tell me exactly what's gonna happen. and everything, because I hate to tell you, I mean, I don't have no problem just seeing it first thing, but I like to look into it and make sure the cost is gonna be appropriate, so.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders to table it to the next board meeting, second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Does the board members have anything for Mr. Davis this morning?
I do. I've got one thing. Honda, let's start utilizing our parks more than what we're doing. I want you to direct, staff and yourself to go out there and, there in 2012, 2013, and on around in there, we were doing a lot of tournaments, state tournaments, regional tournaments and stuff as far as baseball and softball, and I don't care if it's football, we can do soccer now. Let's get out there and let's promote our fields and our parks, because we put a lot of money into them,
Yes, ma'am.
and we need to promote it. We need to get this revenue in here to the counties, and we need to make sure that our youth are still having projects and being able to play and all. So, my direction to you is to go out there and look at some tournaments and stuff that we can look at in the future. And, whether it be baseball, softball, football, or soccer, we've got it. So, can we do that?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Okay.
basically what I was just
I'd like to have a
listening you.
report. I'd like to have you give us a report when you come back next meeting.
Will do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments from Mr. Davis? Mike, you had something?
I sure do have a couple items. Good morning, Commissioners, from my report that will, has to do with Fonda. First, item number 9 in my report. Inform the board that FWC notified staff that the retrofit kits to convert trash containers to bear-proof trash containers they're in. Mr. Fonda Davis met with Ms. Kaylin Good of FWC to discuss installing the kits. A copy of the press release is included in your packet. In addition, staff was also notified that there's an additional funding, $515,000, to purchase more bear resistance equipment for fiscal year 2017-2018. And I'm quoting from their email. Applications will be ranked and priority will be given to communities who have passed ordinances requiring residents and businesses in all or parts of their jurisdiction to keep secure from bears. Currently, the county does not have this type of ordinance in place. I know last year a lot of people complained, well, why didn't you guys get more money? Because in order to get more money, we'd have to do this. And they're also talking about giving priority to those that have mandatory garbage pickup ordinances passed in their county. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's why we can't go after more money. I will sit with Fonda and Caitlin and see if we can apply for more money, but I'm not sure how much we'll get.
Mr. Chairman? Michael, would it, as far as businesses, it said residents and businesses, as far as the business, would it just take retrofitting the big dumpsters?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm not sure if any of those came in. I have to ask them. No, they did not. Okay. For, and the press release, I'm sorry, the press release has the dates for the two locations and times that they can come and get their garbage cans retrofitted. Item number 15, Ms. Caitlin Smith contacted Commissioner Jones about a planned beach cleanup on St. George Island on Saturday, August 5th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Ms. Smith, who is a granddaughter of Ms. Charlotte Botcher, stated that this is the 5th beach cleanup she's organized. Ms. Smith would like board action to authorize the Solid Waste Department to place a small dumpster in front of her grandmother's store, sometimes it's hotter, so that all the trash from the cleanup could be dumped there. I'm sorry about that typo there. I have an issue. The issue is that solid waste is closed on Saturdays and Sundays, so the dumpster could be dropped off Friday afternoon, but will not be picked up until Monday morning sometime. The issue I have with that is once people see an open dumpster somewhere, we all know what happens. It's going to be filled with stuff. And what I don't want is perhaps this dumpster is filled with something that affects, sometimes it's hotter. You see that they complain, oh, the smell from the dumpster, it's affecting our business, but they won't be able to get to it until Monday morning. So I just want to be able to say, okay, Ms. Smith, we can, if the board does decide, the county will do this for you, but just be very clear, it won't be picked up until Monday morning.
Okay.
And that's-
How do we take care of, Fonda, Mr. Chairman, how do we take care of, the beach cleanup that we have every September or every fall? How do we take care of that?
We set a dump down also.
Okay, and you leave it until Monday and go and pick it up Monday?
Yes.
Okay,
That's out in the parking lot. What happened here, last year, we set a dumpster, and I called a guy in that Saturday morning to come get it. But I'm not gonna tire somebody weekend for that afternoon.
yes,
So if they say they can be finished by 10 o'clock, say 9 o'clock, we probably can make that happen. Somebody can come in long enough to get it and take it back in. But any later than that, I don't want to tire somebody weekend for that.
if that, the way I look at it, if they're aware that it's gonna sit there until Monday, you know,
Well, it says here it's from 8 to 9 o'clock, which is not very long for a beach cleanup, but,
Exactly.
No, Mr. Chairman.
yes.
I know from being a part of the Parrothead Club the Forgotten Coast Parrothead Club on the island, our road that we clean regularly is Island Drive as it comes off the bridge into East Point. And it's very common for us to pick up on a Saturday, bag it up, put on the roadside by a sign, and it's picked up on Monday. I mean, so, you know, I don't see where it should be a problem, but you know your job better than I do, sir.
I just try to work with them as best I could, you know, if they're gonna be through at 9 o'clock, you wanna bring somebody in, fine. If they're gonna run late, leave it till Monday, but you have to have that discussion with them, let them know exactly what we're gonna do, one way or the other. Other than that, I don't have a problem assisting them in the beach cleanup.
Okay.
Any other comments from the board on that issue?
No, he sets us up one in Carabel, fill it up, and he comes and gets it. I really had no problem with it, have we, with the household garbage on that?
Right. Yeah.
You ain't got nothing with a lock on it?
No, sir.
Okay.
So we're gonna set it?
Yes, sir. Any other comments from the board on that issue?
Motion for the dumpster, sir, is that necessary, or this is fine?
I think board direction's fine.
Good, okay.
Anything else from Mr. Davis, from the board? Thank you, Fonda.
That's it for me, for you, that is. All right, if we could, Commissioners, go outside of our agenda just a bit. State Representative Emily Schlossberg from the 91st District contacted Commissioner Jones and asked that the board consider passing a resolution supporting legislation that would make texting while driving a primary offense. If I've been directed correctly, Ms. Representative Schlossberg is here this morning to discuss the resolution with the board. A draft copy of this resolution is included in your packet. Representative, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. And thank you, Commissioner Jones, for inviting me here today.
No problem.
It's only about 480 miles that I drove from South Florida up to this beautiful county of Franklin, the best-kept secret in Florida. So my name is Emily Schlossberg. I represent State House District 91, which is Boca Del Rey and Boynton Beach. And the way that I became a state representative, because in 1996, I lost my twin sister in a car crash, and I was almost killed. And 4 of my friends were also killed in that crash. And I'll never forget being in a hospital in critical condition and, on a ventilator. And asking my father, how do I go on? How do we go on? And he said, we're going to make sure that other families don't go through what we did. And so that's exactly why I'm here today. I'm here going county by county and also various cities to get public input so that the counties can pass a resolution that would urge the legislature to make primary enforcement of the texting while driving law the law. Currently, the #1 cause of death for teen drivers is traffic crashes. For 2016, crash reports due to distracted driving rose 10%, and 45% in my county, in Palm Beach County, distracted driving injuries. The current law is set up so that officers can watch a 16-year-old who just passes his driving test. The 16-year-old can leave, with his, passing the driving test. He could text mom and dad or all of his friends, oh, I'm passing the test. and then he could start Snapchatting, but the officer can't pull over the 16-year-old. The 16-year-old has to run a stop sign while he's doing it, or, hit another car, because it's currently a secondary offense. So while we have a ban on texting while driving, it's completely unenforceable. I think around 3,000 tickets were issued in the state of Florida. However, a study just came out that says 92% of Floridians do it. And I'm sure I go out on my roads and I'm driving, I see it happening all the time. People veering out of their lanes. You see them openly texting and driving. I mean, it has become an epidemic, and it has become the culture in the state of Florida. Currently, Florida is only one of 4 other states to enforce this as a secondary offense. There's only 3 other states besides Florida that enforces it as a secondary offense. And I wanted to do a comparison. So I went into my county because before 2010, the seatbelt law was a secondary offense. 2010 was the first full year that the seatbelt law went from a secondarily enforced offense to a primary enforced offense. So I pulled the numbers from Palm Beach County to see how compliance was. And in 2010, Palm Beach County issued over 40,000 tickets for violations of the seatbelt law. So that's huge. Fast forward to 2016, we had under 10,000 tickets issued. So making it a primary offense shows significant amount of compliance to go from 40,000 tickets to under 10. But while we're saving lives with seatbelts, we have a new epidemic on our hands. It's the texting and driving. In 2016, drivers aged 20 to 24 were responsible for the highest number of distracted driving crashes, followed closely by 25 to 29-year-olds. In fact, drivers under the age of 30 accounted for more than 20,000 distracted driving crashes. Unfortunately, 2017, Texas, 2 years ago, the governor vetoed the primary enforcement ban. The legislature passed it, and then the governor vetoed it. Well, this year, Texas did pass it, and the governor did sign it, but only in response to a church van that killed, a texting driver hit a church van that killed 13 people. I don't think that we should be reactive. I don't think that's what Florida should do. I don't think a major catastrophe like that has to happen before the legislature and the governor decide to make this a priority. So last session, in the Senate, I had Senator Rene Garcia running it on the Senate side, and the bill passed through 2 committees. On the House side, however, the bill didn't get one hearing, not one hearing. And not to mention, the bill was filed. I filed it for under 18 years old. I filed it for everybody. I filed it for school zones, because school zones is where parents are dropping their kids off in the morning. They're setting that example. We're pedestrian, where vulnerable kids are crossing the street walking to school. None of it got a hearing. However, we did get a hearing in the Government Accountability Committee, and at the end of the committee, there was no doubt, everyone said the only way to prevent these, injuries and fatalities is to make it a primary offense. But nothing happened. I mean, that was the end. That was the last subcommittee meeting for that. We went straight into session. So, I'm hoping this session we're going to have better luck, but I'm not going to take my chances. I'm going around to every county and city in the state, even if it's 400 and some miles away, to make sure that we give an opportunity for local elected officials and local residents to weigh in on the issue, because these deaths are preventable with proper legislation. So I'm here asking that this county commission pass a resolution urging the legislature to adopt primary enforcement of the texting while driving ban. And I want to say thank you so much for having me here. I really hope the commission and the chair will give some good consideration to this really important issue. And I want to say, by the way, I've gotten an outpouring of residents all over the state writing me and calling me, saying, what's the holdup? Why I don't understand why Florida's not passing this law. And I mean, it's amazing. Everybody, it's in my opinion, common sense legislation. It saves lives. It's a matter of public safety. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board? Question?
I've got a few, Mr. Chairman, if you allow me the time. Representative Schlossberg, you don't know it, but your father served with my brother in the House of Representatives many years ago. Your father tried to get this done and everything, and I know you're trying to carry it out, and I knew the tragedy tragedy that had hit your family. And also to let you know, we traveled them 400 and something miles 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and I can tell you this, that it is a problem. And if one person gets killed from it, that's one too many. And something needs to be done. Don't give up with the house. They will eventually come around. And hopefully you'll get this thing passed. You know, I'm concerned with it because there is so many young drivers that are just learning how to drive. Us old drivers, it's been come a long time. Don't worry about me. I don't text at all. Nobody sends me a text because I don't text. I just don't do it. Don't understand it. But anyway, I'm being truthful. But anyway, I hope you all the luck in your ventures to try to get this passed. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I sure will.
Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say something. Emily, thank you for coming today. Without trying to get too far in, it wasn't about texting, but I know about tragedy in families. And Commissioner Sanders is right. One time is too many. So I thank you for taking the time to come here today, and I'm going to make a motion that we pass this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion, any comments? Commissioner Matthews?
Thank you for coming.
We do have a motion and a second. Michael, you got the comment?
A couple of things. One, I did send it to the sheriff, and he fully supports the resolution. And once you guys pass it, it'll be contingent on the county attorney reviewing. It's a final form to be informed and to be righteous. Then we'll send it forward on to the representative once it's signed.
You said the sheriff supports it too?
Yes, he does.
Would he do a letter of support
I'm sure he
in
will.
that?
I'll just
Have him do a letter of support,
attach
and
it.
then Representative Schlossberg can take it with her to the other sheriff's department. As many law enforcement officers and stuff that we can get behind this, that's what you gotta have. You've gotta have numbers.
So I will send the final and a copy from the sheriff to the representative's office.
Commissioner
Okay.
Jones, would you amend your motion to
Yes, I'll amend my
reflect what
motion
the
to reflect
administrator
that.
said?
I sure
Your
will.
second, Commissioner Lockley.
Yeah, I remember my second for the sheriff.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I wish you luck with your bill.
We do appreciate you coming in today. I advise all my sons not to text and drive because of the tragedy that can befall on them, more or less, and the other people that could be involved in an accident. But you never know what they do when they leave your sight. So I too applaud you for coming today and support your resolution. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
The board will recess 5 minutes. Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Next on the agenda will be Ms. Pam Burnell, Emergency Management Director.
I do not have any action items this morning, Commissioners. Just want to remind y'all that come Wednesday, me and my staff will be in Panama City at the FIFA midyear. Once again, there will be a workshop on the EMPA grant. We did attend a webinar on it. A lot of things that were promised behind closed doors were at this webinar. They were plainly told that, you know, basically what they said behind the closed doors, not what's going to happen, it's what's in the grant. So they asked us to strike through certain language. I'm not striking through anything. Anything they want changed in that grant, they can send me the new paperwork. Just not going to do it. It's a legal document, and for you to be on a webinar telling me to strike through this and put this language in, nope, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're gonna get busy. I see the Gov's getting active.
Yeah. That's what all that rain, it was pulling it toward us, but at least it was going away from us.
Yeah, they got flooded down there.
Any other comments from the board for Ms. Pam?
Michael, are you doing Alan now?
I'm sorry.
Alan, are you calling Alan now for her?
Yeah, calling in for a few minutes, he's gonna call in right now.
Okay, he's gonna call in. All right, I'll wait for that, because I know there's a discussion that we'll have to have with y'all on that.
Yeah,
So I'll wait for that.
He's gonna call him right now while Eric is giving.
Pam, at some point where you feel like we, the board, needs to intervene on the emergency management behalf, now please let us know so we can do that. What good it'll do, I don't know, but we'll do it.
Well, you know, when y'all directed me to write the letter, I did the letter. Now, after speaking to Rhonda Lewis in Liberty County, she spoke directly to the governor, and he said he would look into it. But that was, she spoke to him before we had our webinar. And again, there's 2 huge workshops this week on, you know, things that are in there that, again, things that were promised to Chris and to Dixie County is not what was written in the contract, and I
Well,
tried
we
to
need
tell
to-
Scott that. Well, they clarified it for him on this webinar.
Okay. We need to remind them of that.
It's
then.
going to be exactly like it's written.
Any other comments, Ms. Pam, from the board? Thank you, Pam. Next will be Mr. Eric Lovestrand, Extension Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't have anything for you in addition to the written report from the Extension Program today.
Any comments from the board for Mr. Eric? Being no comments, thank you, Eric, for coming in today.
Thank you, Commissioners, appreciate it.
Okay, Commissioners, as you see, Mr. Pierce is on the agenda as the next item, and I have him on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Are y'all ready?
Yep, we are.
Okay, all right. As you all probably have, I have a long report that I'm going to summarize and paraphrase, so I'm in a change of pattern. I'm not going to read my report out verbatim just because it's so long on a couple of the items. So the first item was pretty straightforward. It's the item that Commissioner Sanders and I have discussed. The FSU Real Estate Foundation, which is an arm of FSU, has received a couple of years ago Lot 13, Block B, Unit 6 on Alligator Point. And they've offered to the county as a donation for free. And so I have spoken to Commissioner Sanders, and I suggest and recommend that we accept Lot 13 as a donation from FSU and direct the attorney to go through the proper steps to get the deed transferred. We already own Lot 12, which is the adjoining lot, and we got that in 2002. So this just builds and adds to the property that the county owns down there along the shoreline of Alligator Drive. And I think it's in our best interest to get this lot. So my recommendation is to make a motion to accept the lot and direct the attorney to follow the transaction.
Pleasure of the board.
I'm going to make a motion that we do this. I think it would be a beneficial thing for the county to do this if we have more erosion down that area. It's nothing there, but it can help in future projects that the board may do. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve and recommend staff to go ahead with it.
So,
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries. Continue on, Al.
Okay. The next item, I'm not going to read verbatim. It's a long item about the consortium. And I will say this is an item that you all will hear about. Commissioner Sanders, I think the next consortium meeting is not till the middle of September. And so there's several more county commission meetings where this item could be discussed if necessary. But essentially what has happened on August 20th, which was just 2 days after your last county commission meeting, and admittedly it was 3 weeks ago, I had a long telephone conference with the consortium consultants. And the chairman was in my office for part of the discussion, or part of the telephone conference, so he heard part of this then. But essentially, there's sort of good news, bad news on this. The consortium consultants have recognized and agreed that the county's projects that we've submitted, those 4 projects, being a new EOC, dredging the East Point Channel, designing and dredging the 2-mile channel, and then a large Apalachicola Bay oyster project, are all projects that they will support and put in the SEP, the State Expenditure Plan. And they are doing this, I believe, because they've also decided that the governor, who actually is going to submit the SEP, will support these 4 projects also. And it's important that we have the governor's support because while the consortium is going to promote and vote on a plan, it's the governor who actually submits it for approval. So, when the consortium consultants say we have 4 good projects, and I feel we'll be able to get those in the plan. The next challenge, though, is as important, if not more important, and that is trying to get our projects to the top of the list. Because, Commissioners, just as the county's restore money is going to come in over 15 years, the consortium's money is going to come in over 15 years. And if we have projects which don't have a large statewide appeal, then the governor could easily decide to put our projects at the end of the list. And it could be 15 years, 10 to 15 years before we get any money out of the consortium. And that's a long time to wait for things that we consider to be of